Hey guys, this is Ivan. In this video I'm going to show you how I take an implant level impression for a fixed complete denture. Now remember, this is different from an implant overdenture because an overdenture relies on the implants, relies on the tissue, and maybe a bar for support. But a fixed complete denture is completely non-removable and relies only on the implants for support. Enjoy. So the first thing I did was make a custom tray. This one's made out of triad. I placed one layer of base plate wax relief over most of the tissue, and in the front I made it extra thick. Next, I removed all the healing abutments and placed open tray impression copings on each implant, making sure that each one is fully tightened. Then I take a PA at each implant site to make sure that each impression coping is fully seated. In case you're not familiar with the active system, you can tell if your abutment is seated all the way if the long axis of the abutment matches up to the long axis of the implant. Also, there's a little gap at the conical interface. So that conical interface is depicted by that green line and that blue line. If that gap between the green line and the blue line is less than 1 millimeter, then it's fully seated. But if it's greater than 1 millimeter, it's probably not down all the way. Next, I check if my custom tray can actually seat down over all those impression copings. Usually I have to adjust my tray quite a bit here. Now I take a piece of floss and I tie together all those impression copings. I'm basically just making a scaffold over which I'm going to build a little bridge with GC pattern in the next step. I don't want these impression copings to move on me at all, so I'm going to go ahead and connect all of them with GC pattern resin by applying just a little bit at a time over that little floss scaffold. By luting all these impression copings together, it helps preserve their relationship and helps keep them from being distorted after I take the impression. I'm going to go ahead and check that my custom tray still fits, and you will probably have to adjust it again at this point. So now I'm going to go ahead and just dry the tissue and take the impression. I apply light body around all of the cylinders. I make sure to get it from the facial as well as from the lingual to avoid any bubbles. Sometimes it helps to use a little thin sheet of wax to cover up that hole in your custom tray. That way PVS material doesn't just get all over the place. After I seat my tray, I make sure to just wipe off any PVS material that's going to be covering up the little screw holes. Four minutes later, the impression's ready to be unscrewed and pulled out. So remember, a fixed denture is only deriving support from the implants themselves, so not from the patient's own tissues. So it's not critical to get the same extensions in this impression as you would need for a traditional impression or even for an implant overdenture. But if you can get a good impression of the hard palate for the maxillary arch and the retromolar pad for the mandibular arch, then that's just going to help you in subsequent steps. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.